You don't realize it, but your business is failing because you're not investing back into yourself and the company. As a leader, owner, CEOs, whatever it may be, you have to invest in the back of yourself. You owe it to your team.
All right, what's going on, everyone? This is a little bit unique of an episode here on the Nailed It Show. I wanted to promote and give some love to my buddy Jessie Ladson's event coming up, Contractor Con, which is coming up in October in Orlando, Florida. So Jesse's actually on the road right now. We're making time bright and early in the morning to make this happen because I think this event looks awesome. The speakers look amazing. It looks very organized, looks very professional. And I know how hard it is to, to break through the noise and to, differentiate with an event these days. So I want to get Jesse on himself to talk a little bit about it for you. So what's up, my man?
Yeah, appreciate it, Joseph. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad we made it happen. So tell us about Contractor Con. What's it all about?
So Contractor Con is an event, and ultimately kind of stemmed from a community that we wanted to build in the commercial space. And now we're going to have contractors from all over. We're going to have guys that are doing wood framing, roofing, HVAC, mechanical, plumbing, etc. But if you're in the commercial space, this is why we did the event. Growing up in the industry, and I've been doing this straight out of college, so probably 9 or 10 years now. I've got several construction companies, and I never knew the true potential that I had into myself or really until I was around people who were doing much bigger things than me. And it's very cliche, but Joseph, we've all been in that situation, and we've all kind of second guessed reinvesting in ourselves. But what I have found was that truly being in the room with the guys that are doing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100 million in revenue, they were doing things I never even thought that I would be capable of. So what I found was that being in these rooms, these people were able to extract potential out of me that ultimately led me to what I was truly able to do in my life. And growing up in construction, there's this sense of ego in the industry that we kind of need to put out the door, leave it behind us, and be very open and receptive of the value that's inside the room. And this is what we want to do with Contractor Con, was bring speakers like Ben Newman from all around the country and come in and bring value to the contractors in the room. And I love door to door. I do, and I love RoofCon. This is different from that. So I don't want to get this. This is no competition, not competing whatsoever. But this is an event that we wanted to build for anyone in the commercial space outside of door to door. So if you're in a business and you're struggling from 1 to 5 million, you're trying to break through and you just don't know what to do. This is why we did the event. We know what it's like to deal with labor shortage. We know what it's like to deal with people not showing up. We know what it's like to deal with not being able to get mechanical units for 26, 36 weeks. So how do we keep our teams going? How do we continue to drive our sales success? But most importantly, how do we retain the people that we have? And this is exactly what we'll do with Contractor Con. We're going to create a community of people and contractors to come together and become one. Ultimately, that's what we want. We want to work together, support one another, and do some amazing things in the industry.
Wow, that sounds awesome. So it is geared toward those commercial contractors. And I know growing up in the contracting business myself, there's so many different facets of even commercial construction. Is there like a specific segment of commercial, or like pretty much anyone that's involved in commercial projects, or private? Is it bid work?
Yep. It's pretty much anyone in the commercial space, because right now I don't see any event of this kind in the commercial space. So we wanted to be the first to come out and truly make an impact on the construction or the commercial construction community. So if you're metal stud framing, you are doing TPO roofs, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection. If you're vendors, if you're a commercial product vendor, you should be in this room. And we got some very large sponsors coming in. And I'll use an example for Joseph. We have a financial advisor coming in, called me up last week and said, look, I want to do a VIP dinner for 30 people, 100% paid by me, and we're going to do it at Capitol Grill. I don't care what the bill is, but I want these guys in the room because I want to invest back into commercial construction. So these are people that truly believe in that. So if you're in that commercial space, this is the room that you want to be in.
All right. That makes sense for sure. And I totally get it. Sometimes it's hard to explain until you're in that room where you are rubbing shoulders and, breaking bread, having a beer, coffee, whatever, with companies or people that are maybe doing, 10x the revenue that you are. And I think we all have this in us, like this self-doubt, like, all right, well, Jesse can do that, or this other guy can do that, but I'm just like the $2 million guy. I'm the small guy, and it can be really hard to like articulate how that can rub off. Maybe it's not one of the amazing speakers on stage, maybe it's just one of those encounters that you have at breakfast or during one of the breaks that can really just shift your mindset as to what's possible. And, that for me has been going to events, for the last 10 years or so,
right.
Like that's a huge thing. Just having those conversations with people that can make you believe in yourself a little bit more. Right.
Yeah. 100%. And I'll use an example on that. So I grew up in a very small town, single mother, a very torn down mobile home, did not have a father figure in my life. And so I worked through 2-3 jobs throughout college, paid my way through it with the support of my mother. Thank you for that. But where I'm going to is that I was never handed anything in life. I never had guidance, never had mentorship. It wasn't until I was 31 years old when I attended my first event, and I had just started my company, and I was doing maybe 1.2, 1.5. And so, but that's not where I wanted to be. And I remember the promoter saying, look, Jesse, this event is going to change your life. And I'm thinking, okay, I've heard this before. I've been sold before, but I don't really believe this. And so before I know it, I'm in this room. I meet people, not even the speakers. I meet people in the room. And I'm here in Nashville with one of the guys that was in that room originally, who is probably my number one accountability partner, not even in construction. He is a tax strategist, a consultant, and doing incredible things. But it's being around those guys that are doing things that you never thought you could do. But it takes out one person for you to come across that will change your life. Because I've been there, I'm in the moment, and I'm able to witness that.
That's awesome. And so if you're going to go to the event, and everyone should, be open to that, right? Be open to those conversations. Don't sit there playing on your phone the whole time during the breaks. Like, make sure that you're open to those conversations to not only learn from others, but to pour into others as well, because we all have more to share, to teach others than we believe that we do. Now that makes sense. All right. Now I can imagine someone listening to this, watching this, and be like, all right, that all sounds good. I know it. I get it, dude. I am slammed. You don't get it, Jesse, man. I'm working 12 hours a day. I don't have time. My people depend on me. We got these projects going on. I just can't get away. What do you say to those guys or girls?
So I made a video on this, and this is true. The number one people that take action to the events are the elite guys. And if you are stuck and your hesitation, because listen, I've gotten these responses where I'm just too busy, it's not the right time. You're going to stay where you are. You don't realize it, but your business is failing because you're not investing back into yourself and the company. As a leader, owner, CEOs, whatever it may be, you have to invest in the back of yourself. You owe it to your team to be there at Contractor Con. Listen, this has taken an extremely amount of time away from my teams. But what it has done, it has created credibility. It's created authority in the space. It's created exposure for my entire team. And everyone's excited about it. But where we're going with this is that if you think you're too busy, you think you can't afford it, you need to come talk to me and my team. We can get you in this room because ultimately at the end of the day, we don't want there to be a roadblock for you. But you owe it to yourself and your team to be in that room, make that investment. Because the guys that are there are the guys that are going to be light years ahead of you when things start to slow down. Because reality is things are going to slow down. We are going to have a correction. No one really knows when, but it's going to happen. And if you are not prepared for that, I guarantee you, your businesses will begin to fail. And the guys in the room are the guys that are already ahead of that curve.
Yeah, you might even have some people that have been through some of those corrections in the past that can provide that guidance. So that can help you tremendously. And I totally, I would, what I would say to anyone is like, because we're all in this position, right? I'm a business owner as well. And, we're always so busy, but we have to zoom out a little bit and not look at like, what do we have going on right now? But like, what does the next 3 to 5, maybe even 10 years look like? And how can I set up our team and our company for success? And I'm going out to Denver next week for an event. I think it's like, I'll be gone 3 days. We have so much going on here. We're hiring, we're growing, it's stressful for me to be away, to go fly across the country for this event. But I know that, it's not like I'm going to generate a whole bunch of leads and appointments and sales at the event. It's not that type of event. It's more of a leadership thing. But the relationships that I'm going to build with people that I already know, and then with people that I don't yet know, are going to be relationships that are going to, be an asset for our business, for me, for many years, and hopefully, again, pouring into some others and being that asset to some others as well. So it's like zoom out. We've all got the things that we can all work, 20 hours today to work on the immediate problems, but we've got to zoom out as a leader and say, hey, what does the business need over the next 3, 5, 10 years? And how can I make sure that, I'm leading that, Yeah,
that's a great point, because the reality of scaling is that when you scale, that means the company is not dependent on you. And what we see in construction is that a lot of these construction companies are dependent on the owner, because they are the operator of the company. As the owner, you cannot be the operator. If you truly want to scale, you cannot be the sole operator of that company, because what happens is that the company gets dependent on you. When you're not there, what happens? The company stalls. Sales don't happen. Calls don't get made. It begins to stall. So the company can't be dependent on you. And to your point, Joseph, I'm here in Nashville. I am extremely busy, busier than I ever have been. We grew 300 or 400% this year. We're north to do 30 million this year, and we're on track to do 60 next year. Well, I shouldn't be traveling, right? I should be in the office grinding. Well, that's what most people think. I know, but I got to be out of the office continuing to improve of where we are headed as a company, because we owe it to the team. If we as leaders are not continuing to advance ourselves, advance our knowledge, and advance our mind capacity, we're being detrimental to our company and our team.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And you are living proof of that. And I want to get to that, because I know there's a lot of, there's so many events in the contracting space today, and there's a lot of noise out there. And one of the objections, let's just get ahead of it, right? Like, all right, these guys are throwing an event. What have they done? Right? Like they're just, he's just talking about, what you should do and telling me what you should do, or throwing this event to tell me what I should do, to pitch me everything. But, what has this guy done? You've done it. Like, you are doing it. So you are a practitioner of this. Can you give us a little background as to you, your company, where you're at now, some of the things that you've been through that you can share with others?
So I was not born in construction. I was not given a golden spoon. I've worked my ass off for everything that I have in my life. And I am I'm dependent upon myself. I don't depend on anyone else. Everything that I have was earned, and it was blood, sweat, you name it. So I came up through the rankings. I started out as a project engineer in the corporate world, did some really cool stuff, 4 seasons, the Orlando Amway Center for the Orlando Magic. So I was a part of some really cool projects. I left the corporate world and a $150,000 salary to leave to start a company. My wife was 6 months pregnant when this happened. It was the worst time, but I knew what I could do. And I always had this kind of burning desire into myself on, man, I'm really good at what I do. But I was extremely humble, and I was extremely not receptive, but I was extremely hesitant to go out and do something because of fear. So the number one reason people don't do things is because of fear. It's the fear of failure. Well, now I have the fear of losing everything that I have built. So over the past 4 years, I have started 3 different construction companies. We are investing in Airbnbs. We got commercial properties, and we are on the uptick and have a goal of doing $100 million to the company here in the next 3 to 4 years. That's our next milestone. And I have no hesitation whatsoever that we're going to hit that. But it's important that I continue to invest in the team, invest into myself, and where we're headed, because it's so easy for us to get caught up on where we are in a moment versus where we need to head, because things are great right now. contractors are chasing low hanging fruit. I don't look at low hanging fruit. I think it's the worst thing to do. I'm looking at what's the gap in the marketplace and how do we get there? So yeah, we have done it firsthand as a company. We have grown from having $40,000 in a bank account. That's all I had when I started. I had $40,000 to my name. And so we have seen this grow over time, but we did that through staying consistent, creating a network, and continuing to love on our people. And so we're just not putting on this event to put on the event. I don't have time to put on events, but it's something that I believe in. And it's something that we are pouring our heart, soul, and a lot of money into because we know that it's needed in the space. And so the promoter of the event is not someone that's just promoting events. It's not someone that's just making back end offers. It is not about that. It is truly about the guys that have done it. You're gonna have Paul Bertozzi in the room, who built his multifamily contracting business to north of $150 million in 4 to 5 years. And that doesn't happen, but these are guys that have done it firsthand. And you're going to hear from us on how we've done it and how we are continuing to do this to advance our companies. So again, it's the guys that have done it. We've been there, we're still doing it, and we're continuing to look for ways to advance our companies.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, just to go to listen to a guy like that and get some insights, take some notes, and take action on that, like that in and of itself is huge. You have some other killer speakers. You don't have to go through them all. Some of the guys that I saw, like Brian Hess and my boy Clifton, and you got Ben Newman out there. Tell us a little bit about some of these other speakers.
Yeah, so I've known Ben for a while. Ben's a good friend of mine, and he's going to come in. He's going to talk about how to drive the sales success. And if you don't know Ben Newman, you really need to do your research before he comes, because he is a powerhouse. He is our keynote speaker. He's great when it comes to mental toughness and how do you truly connect the mind to the performance. He's working with Nick Saban, the top college football teams in the world, University of Alabama, which I'm a Florida fan, but Ben doesn't. I give him a hard time. But no, so Ben is our keynote speaker. Coach Michael Burt on activating the parade drive and just fire. Coach Michael Burt just brings nothing but fire to the show. Brian Hess owns a national paving group doing remarkable things. He does a phenomenal job with technology and how he's implemented it into his company and how it's scaling. And you need to follow Brian Hess because he's doing some pretty remarkable things with his paving company nationwide. And he makes it look so easy. I'm still trying to figure out how he does that. Yeah, and then we got our boy Clifton from Win Rate Consulting. Clifton is extremely phenomenal in what he does with creating raving fans with the clients, and how do you continue to build that love, support, so they continue to come back for more. Because the easiest thing we can do as contractors for our next job is to go back to the person that wrote us the last check or the biggest check, but they have to be raving fans about what you do. And then my boy, David Pettis. David Pettis is not only my accountability partner, he's a guy that I met at one of my first events, and I have watched him grow. He has sold businesses, and he has done pretty incredible things that I don't even think I'm capable of right now. This is how crazy this guy is. He's a tax strategist. He's a consultant, has a consulting firm, and his belief is that it's your right not to pay taxes. We work extremely hard for the money that we have just to turn right back around and give the IRS a whole lot of money at the end of the year. He shared an example with us yesterday on a client that came to him in construction, had a $1.6 million tax liability, and was able to save him over $700,000 just on that tax liability. So there's so much value in the room that you guys are going to be exposed to that I really do truly feel this in my heart, that there's going to be major FOMO on this if guys are not in the room. And even when it comes to sponsors have jumped on this because they feel it, they know it. They get first round of refusal from every year hereafter. So we're going to take this from Orlando to Tampa to Jacksonville to Atlanta. So we're going to be moving this from city to city throughout the country of the upcoming years. And this thing's going to blow up. So I want people to be a part of this early on to truly experience the growth and where this thing is headed.
Man, that's awesome. That's a great painted picture of what people can expect. I love the vision, love the passion. Man, this is awesome. So I love that you're doing it and you're sharing what you've done, sharing what you're doing. this is like the real stuff. This is not theory. This is not textbook. This is like the real stuff. So I love it, Jessie, man. Thanks for sharing. Where can people go to get their tickets? I mean, I think everyone watching or listening is like, yeah, I got to be there. Let's go.
Yeah, well, let's do this. You can visit www.contractor-con.com. Scroll down to the bottom. We have 4 different tiers of tickets. You got Pro, Elite, Pro, Elite, VIP, and Diamond. VIPs are selling out. We do got a couple of Diamonds left. But if you're interested in the ticket, please click purchase tickets. My team will be in contact with you within a matter of minutes. You'll get a text message, more information about it. But if you personally have any questions on the event, you can send me a message as well, because I want you to be successful. You can follow me on Instagram at Jessie Ladson, or find me Jessie Ladson on Facebook as well. I'll respond within a matter of minutes. And look, Contractor Con is going to change your life. And I 100% believe this. I'm a very spiritual guy, and I feel like this is a calling for me to create a community. And so I want you to be in the room. So please visit contractor-con.com, get a ticket. It's going to be at the Hyatt Regency in Orlando, Florida, October 6th and the 7th. We got some phenomenal rates at the Hyatt that aren't going to last forever. And you want to book that about a week before the event. And so if you have any questions, please message me, go to purchase the tickets. You can ask my sales team as well, and we will guide you through the whole process.
That's awesome. I love that you get back to people right away. And for what it's worth for the audience, like I've gotten to know Jessie over the past couple of months, and dude's got a lot going on, but he's very responsive. And that's, probably one of the reasons he's been successful is because he's out there to help others. So wow. Get your tickets now before you come up with some excuses why you can't go or shouldn't go or won't go or whatever. So just make it happen, put it in your calendar, make that commitment, and invest into yourself and your business, into your people, into your future.
That's right.
All right, Jessie, thanks so much, man.
Yep. Appreciate it, Joe.